Hey guys, we're live with GuardianCast, episode 46. And
yes, hello.
This week we have special guest Godin.
Hello.
And Huffy couldn't be here. He has a very private medical issue that he has to take care of, and we're not going to say any more than that. So,
well, I thought it was very public with his hand, right?
No. Different thing.
That's a different medical.
Oh, dang.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We're hoping for the best for him. Hopefully he pulls through.
Praying for you, Huffy.
Is he in the hospital?
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to worry anybody. I just made all that up. He has a gig or something.
Yeah. Bet I like 100% believed you just now.
Yeah, nice.
1,000. Yeah.
But so Godin's been on the podcast twice before, but just for anybody who doesn't know who you are, if you want to briefly introduce yourself.
Sure.
For those of you that do not remember him,
it was like a year ago or something like that, I think.
Well, it was a while ago,
It was a while ago, yeah. I'm GodinGaming. Definitely not GodinGaming, like everyone will mispronounce it who sees the name.
Wait a minute, you told us last time
it was GodinGaming.
You were Godin.
Or GodinGaming, yes. GodinGaming from Malaysia is one of them as well.
No, you told us last time though that you were the GodinGaming.
Didn't happen. Right?
Pro golfer,
play a lot of Destiny, although lately I've been playing a lot of like rando games just because
Destiny is super fun.
To play this thing. Yeah, Destiny's super fun.
There's other games.
Dude, I've heard.
Supposedly.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Dude, there's like Kingdom Hearts 2 coming out.
Okay.
I mean, you might be interested. I don't know.
Yeah.
May have heard of it. May have heard of a little game called Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's very little. It's so little I can play it on my phone.
So last week, as I mentioned multiple times, we started a new process of recording the podcast and changed up the formula for the YouTube video and stuff. And when I say we ran into every technical issue that could possibly have happened, I think we ran into every technical issue that could have possibly happened. So...
Well, not every technical issue.
Basically,
there is the corrupt file from the saving.
Well, I didn't get to that. I didn't get to tell you, XO. That actually happened. I tried to record some footage at a really high bit rate to get the best quality. And
how big was the file, by the way?
The file, it was an hour of footage, and it was 60 gigabytes. And
sounds about right.
The program just force closed, and all of the footage got corrupted. So that was a good use of my time.
Yeah. It's a good learning moment, though, you know?
Oh. Well, what I do is I record it. If I'm going to record it in NVNC, what I do is I record it in... I don't know if I can... I don't know. I was using X264, but it just was... The bit depth was too much, I guess. And it was not happy. You can also do the record through the NVIDIA Shield or whatever it's called.
Shadowplay? Yeah.
I tried that, and it caused a little bit of frame stuttering, and it was making me triggered. So I was like, I'll just use the capture card. I'll play offline. But now I think what I'm going to do is either I'll just use footage from my stream, or like I'll specifically stream and just turn my overlays off during games, like every once in a while, to just get some raw footage.
If you just want the gameplay, do NVENC, turn off all the overlays, do all that stuff, and then do the bit rate of 25 million or
25 million.
And you can. It's not going to be a huge file. As long as I think it's MKV. Right?
Okay. I don't know.
So my recording, this is how I have it set up. I have MKV as the recording format, NVNC, CBR, and 250,000.
There you have it. But so anyway, this week, hopefully we got the...
That's 250 megabytes a second.
Yeah, that's what I was recording at before. But hopefully we got the technical issues ironed out, and we're going to have a better audio experience, as well as some cool B-roll footage for you to watch if you like listening on YouTube. So That should go better this week. So I want to start off the podcast this week and just recap a little bit. Back to last week. We were talking about the Activision Bungie split. And I went down the rabbit hole a little bit and was talking about how I think, wasn't necessarily Activision's decision to do this. And that maybe the lawyers had to get involved and stuff like that, because it just doesn't seem like something they would voluntarily walk away from. And then, literally, like, the next night, we learned that
it was a couple hours after it. Yeah, because I was watching a YouTube video that recapped the story, and it said Activision under investigation. It was like if you haven't heard all of this new stuff, he's like, by the way, and he added a bunch of other stuff, and I was like, holy crap, when did that happen? I looked it up, and I was like, wow, Kotaku has an article.
The title was literally like moments after Activision and Bungie split under investigation.
People aren't happy with the split.
So people aren't happy with the split, and they're under investigation for securities fraud. That's all we really know, but the speculation is basically that people within Activision knew the split was coming. They knew that their stock was going to take a huge hit, 10% overnight, by the way, and they may have dumped their own stock to save themselves financially a little bit, and or shorted their own stock to make a profit.
So the craziest thing in this story here, I think, is that Bungie and Activision, certain people at Bungie and certain people at Activision knew that it was a 10-year contract with an 8-year clause for Bungie to get out of it. But only some people knew at Bungie and some people knew at Activision, and those people sold their stock just before this happened.
That's what they're under investigation for.
So that's what, we want to know when they knew and who knew what.
There's a class action lawsuit for basically anyone who is an Activision investor. That there's a firm that's investigating this, that's calling for investors to get involved and bring any evidence that they have and whatever. To make matters more complicated, I think because of the government shutdown, that the SEC has very limited resources, if any, to investigate this. So that's a factor as well.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh, wait, it's weird. Yeah. Good thing I live in Canada.
That won't protect your investment in Activision.
That's true, bro. Which I'm heavily invested in.
Pump out those microtransactions immediately. So then on top of all that, somehow they managed to break all this news at the same time. But amidst this controversy, Activision stock is plummeting. People might be guilty of insider trading. They hire this new CFO, and they're like, seems like a good time to give him a $15 million bonus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I really I want to know how I can get into one of those positions where it's like, everything is going terrible. Let's just pay this guy a lot of money.
Well, the previous one, it as like, we thought it was, he just left. He was just poached by Netflix. That's what happened.
Yep.
And this new CFO came in, and he's like not even there for 30 days.
Yep.
He gets a $15 million.
He's living a good time.
Just to hang out.
So, I mean, I just, want to say, I'm glad my theory held up. It was not far-fetched.
It's the we're sorry bonus to him. Like, we're sorry for what you have to take on. We're sorry. You go have
it must be so
million.
hard for you.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, think about it, right? So, like, you don't know that going in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say you're the person who they hire to be the CFO.
Yeah.
Like, and you find out about this.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, well, doesn't this break my contract? And they're like, It does, but listen, this giant bag of money is sitting on the table with your name on it.
Literally retire.
Put out an awesome tweet after they announced that they were paying him all that money. That he like posted the article and he put, but the cost of game development is rising.
Did you guys watch that video that I posted last week?
I don't know which video.
It was about EA's loot boxes, and it showed how like
the Wilson boxes. Is that what you're talking about?
Wilson boxes, but as well as like not just the total amount, but even if you adjust it for inflation, but even the total amount, the actual development of games have gone down.
Wow,
they spent more money in 2009. Like EA, just as a company, EA spent more money in 2009 than they did in 2017, and as for game
10 years, bro.
And that's
but is that because they like shut down other studios and they're not making as many games?
I mean, honestly, I don't really care what the reason is. Like,
well, that was anecdotal, right? So that's just EA. So that's
like even with inflation, that's insane. You know, that makes no sense.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, that was the crazy thing about like how everyone's using that as an excuse for why we need to jack up.
Yeah.
For microtransactions, yeah, and it turned out that for at least for in EA's case, it's not really about that.
Sad about
it's never been about that.
I mean, that's that's always the thing, right? Like big corporations are always going to like use any like rhetoric they can to just justify their actions. Like, you know, if McDonald's is forced to pay their employees more money, they're going to be like, yeah, well, you're going to see those prices go up, and then the prices don't go up because they know.
Well, they do, but they go up like 15 cents.
Right. Yeah, it's like nothing, basically.
Yeah.
But
I do love their indie games though. Like they have some
EA?
Really spot on. Yeah, like which apparently they help other out a lot, games? Which is really cool. I think it was Faye.
I guess they're not technically indie games if they're published by Activision, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so. I don't know how that works.
I think independent studios like just means that they self-publish.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess like smaller studios, like they're not a AAA studio.
Like High Moon and Vicarious Visions.
Anyway. Yeah. Sure. I mean, yeah.
So, in 2014, so it looks like it says, I'm just looking at Activision Blizzard's research and development expenses. I guess that's R&D. Wait, no, that's R&D, right?
Yeah, R&D is different than... Well, I guess...
No, research and development. Yeah, research and development. So...
production, though? That probably doesn't include production.
Their development costs are rising slightly.
Okay. Not EA, though. They're like, Madden Ultimate Team, put it out again.
No. Yeah. So like
FIFA Ultimate Team.
Well, they're let's see, that's the whole thing. It's like how do you determine the difference between their research and development? That's R&D, right?
Yes.
That's totally different.
Yeah, that's like, to me, R&D sounds like this is how we enhance video game technology, not like how we build a game. But I don't know what they include in that cost balloon. I guess it depends how much. The most expensive
game that they ever produced was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. And that was $250 million.
Yeah, and that one sold pretty well.
Probably.
And according to the spreadsheet so far, Destiny has only cost them $140 million so far.
The real question is, how much money have they made on those red dot sites since they implemented them?
I actually really want to know that. Yeah.
I hope people aren't buying those things. If you're a Call of Duty fan...
But it only costs $1.
Yeah. If you're a Call of Duty fan, look, it's okay. It's okay to like, bad games, but please just don't buy those red dots, all right? Whatever you do. Leave them in the store.
Dude, what if they come out with a blue one and it's like $2? Just like, I want that.
A blue one? A blue red dot?
A blue dot? Yeah, dude, for $2.
I feel like that would be pretty hard to see because blue.
I mean, maybe whatever color you want. It's like
like a green dot.
You get to customize your red dot, dude. Isn't that all you've ever wanted from Call of Duty? Is to customize your red dot?
Yep. But you actually, what if you just, no, it'd be better if you just can't customize the color at all. They're just like, yeah, we're going to charge you, but you only get to change the size and the shape. That's all.
Oh, man.
It's red.
That's even too much. No, the development cost for that is a little too high.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for it, but all I can find is this R&D number. Like, their R&D number is rising, but maybe they're just investigating.
That's what they want you to see.
Maybe they're just investigating EA and just trying to find a solution to loot box the crap out of us.
Maybe their research and development is just like, this is us researching how to make more money off of microtransactions.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're just trying to find different ways. They're pumping money into companies like what was that company called? There's a company that says that it can increase a mobile game's revenue by 20 to 40% by adjusting the prices for people based on the type of gamer that they are. So if they're less likely to buy it, they'll reduce the price of it so that they will buy it. Or if they're more likely to buy it, they'll increase the price. Yeah.
Wow.
That would actually work, because there's a lot of games where I'm like, this is $80.
Because some games,
I would not do that.
Some games I'd be like, yeah, I'll pay literally anything for this, probably.
Well, yeah, so like something will come up and it'll be like, this is $10, and you're like, but I don't want to pay $10. But they're like, but it's not really $10. It's really $1.99. And then you're like, okay.
There's no way to make that happen in a vacuum. Like you could totally do that, but like people will talk to each other, and then like here's the problem.
Amazon actually does that though. So
yeah, there are companies, there are mobile games that are doing that right now.
Yeah.
Okay, but like you might not talk to every customer on Amazon, but like I guarantee if you're playing an online game, right, and you're just talking with your friends, and you're like, yeah, I paid blah 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 for this game, and then like you find out it's because of that algorithm, and somebody paid like half what you did, you're just gonna immediately start having a bad experience. You're gonna hate the game all of a sudden, right or wrong, whether you're just gonna feel like you got ripped off. So I don't know. I don't see that working out long term. It's
not gonna work out. It's gonna destroy the gaming industry long term.
Yeah.
Because
but in the short term, I get cheap games, and that's awesome.
Yeah, and somebody else gets another big bonus. So
somebody who's more likely to pay more for it will pay more for it. Yeah. So what they do is they decide based on a bunch of factors, what type of gamer that you are, and they make the cost of what they want to sell you dependent on how much they believe you're willing to spend.
They're like, hey, Facebook, if you could help us ruin the world, then that would be great. Share with us your algorithm insights.
Because they're on mobile stuff. Like they get most of that stuff through like Google AdSense and stuff. Interesting. Google AdSense, and then there's stuff that they can get from just like mobile games. It was I'll find the video. It was eye opening.
So there's a weird thing that happened last week. I thought we had gotten all the news we were going to, and I'm kind of glad that this happened because we didn't have time to talk about anything else last week. But basically, the TWAB came out on Friday afternoon after our podcast, which was weird because I guess they were so overwhelmed by the Activision split stuff that they didn't have time to write the TWAB right away. So we actually have two TWABs to talk about this week. Not a whole lot of information in either of them, but the sandbox changes at least spans over both. But I want to start with how they open up this TWAB with Luke Smith's comments, because it's kind of weird that now all of a sudden they're just pulling Luke Smith back out of the fray. They're like, hey, Activision's out of the way, so now we can let Luke be Luke, And he just came out and was like, I have 3 things to say. And then he listed them. But so he makes this whole comment about High Moon Studios and Vicarious Visions and thanks them for their help. And Activision, actually. He doesn't say they're going away, but that's kind of the feeling I get from that paragraph is like, hey guys, thanks for porting it to PC and helping us out with stuff. Yeah. And they're working on a couple of the annual pass things right now.
What this week at Bungie was this?
117 from yesterday. So the exact quote is, "Our sincere thanks to people at Activision who helped bring Destiny to our players. High Moon Studios for their wonderful collaboration on Forsaken. Vicarious Vision who helped establish Destiny community on PC, worked with us on Warmind, and is currently readying their Destiny Swan Song," whatever that means, "with content that will appear in the upcoming season of the Redacted."
Okay, so what? Yeah, so what he's saying is that's the last time we're gonna hear or see them.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, for sure.
That's what Swan Song is. The Swan Song is like your final.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The final act.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much confirmation that those studios are not going to be part of the project moving forward.
Yeah, Swan Song is a person's final public performance or professional activity. What it is, it's like I think it has to do with a lot of the ballets, and the Swan Song is like the last thing. It's like they came out and they did like the one final performance or the encore, and then that was it.
I still have a theory that I think they'll still be doing things with the PC port.
Vicarious Visions?
Yeah, like I think because I don't know that Bungie.
Well, I think somebody is going to need to help them, but I don't know that. Yeah, we talked about this last week. Vicarious Visions is an Activision-owned studio.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But that doesn't mean that they can't like contract some of their work, right?
They could. I just don't know if they'd be willing to work out a deal with how this worked out for Activision.
Who did all the ports for like the PS? Was it Ready at Dawn?
Ready at Dawn? I don't know what that is.
There's a studio that did all the ports for, and they're doing all the ports for like PS3 to PS4. Like, and Activision hires them, EA hires them, Sony hires them.
I have no idea.
They were a second party studio to Sony, but they do a lot of third party work, and I think they were the people who did the Spyro.
That Toys for Bob. Well. Toys for Bob is who did the Spyro remake.
Okay, then it wasn't them.
Yeah. And I would not want that happening because, I mean, the game looks beautiful, man, but if I had to see that motion blur in Destiny, we'd have a problem.
Yikes.
Yeah, so Ready at Dawn did the God of War Origins collection, but I think that they're actually a first party now. No, they're not. They did a God of War Chains of Olympus on the PSP. They did the Okami remake or remaster.
Oh, I remember Godin playing that.
For Nintendo.
Oh, that's actually good.
Yeah.
I like that.
God of War, Ghost of Sparta, God of War Origins Collection. So they redid the remastered versions of those games. So they did Jak and Daxter as well.
Oh, okay. I remember that game.
Well, not Jak. They didn't do Jak and Daxter because that was
the remake.
That was Naughty Dog, but the remaster.
I never played the remaster. I probably should get around to that at some point.
I've not played Jak and Daxter like ever. So
Jak and Daxter is an incredible series.
It is. It's really good.
Jak 2 is really hard.
It got kind of weird in Jak 3. They were like, "You want guns now?" You're like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I think, but that was because they wanted to make it easier because of there was a lot of bleed over from like Insomniac's. I don't know how much those two studios, like Insomniac and Naughty Dog, kind of were like fighting for like top spot on the PS2 at the time, and I don't know how much, like I said, bleed over there was from the Ratchet and Clank games because like Insomniac, they did all the Ratchet and Clank games, and then Naughty Dog was doing the Jak and Daxter series.
I feel like I missed out here or something.
Dude, Jak 2 was
they're all PlayStation games. I'm surprised that you haven't played them, like, and I have. It's super weird.
I've only got a PS4. Like, I did not have a PS1, 2, or 3.
These are all PS2 games. Yeah.
Yeah, that explains it.
That makes sense then. So, yeah, I think we will see somebody helping out with the PC port moving forward with whatever they're working on, but I don't know if it'll be Vicarious Visions or not. The next thing that he mentions, he starts talking about what they've learned from Black Armory, and this makes me a little nervous because Bungie has this notorious way of like extrapolating something and then like not doing what we actually want them to do. Because like what he says leads me to believe that he's just like, yeah, the only problem with Black Armory was that we set the light level too high at the beginning. And it's like, that was not the only problem. Like, we don't really want to spend a whole season throwing a ball at a pole.
For the first forge too high, and it meant it wasn't a great chance to jump into new content. We want to find a line between new content for many players and aspirational content for players to progress towards. We're exploring improvements to catch-up mechanics. What?
Yeah, and that's another thing. So, like, that wording makes me nervous. Just because I've been through this song and dance before where it's like, oh, yep, got to make sure that the casuals, you know, have a way. But the game already has so many catch-up mechanics in it as it is that I feel like just more catch-up mechanics is not going to solve this issue. The problem is that the gameplay loop of this is just not that interesting. Like, I was over it after like a week. Throwing the ball at the pole over and over again. We're on to our 4th forge now. It's like a month later. I'm done throwing the ball. Like,
yeah.
You know, like that's...
I haven't even unlocked the 4th. Like, I haven't even done the 4th one.
Me either.
Just got to the 3rd one last week. So
yeah, and I hear that the 4th one's not even hard to unlock, but I just have been like, meh.
The 4th one is unlocked. Apparently, you just literally like...
Oh, really? You don't even have to do
it.
You just click it, yeah.
I just did it today. You literally just walk into it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Well, this line is like, why, like, man, like, what Destiny's future can now look like for our players. Like, they didn't have that. Like, what he's trying to say is that I think they're trying to play up the fact that Activision had a lot of control over the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's kind of the gist in this whole paragraph here, is that they want you to believe that Activision had so much control in there that
I actually prevented can't Luke blame Smith Activision for this. I think that this is just it was just a missed goal.
To think that Luke Smith couldn't do his job because of Activision, or they couldn't make the game that they wanted to make. Like, I get that they...
Well, I definitely think Destiny 2's launch had a lot to do with Activision. I think Activision...
And Destiny 1's launch, the structure of it was a lot different because of... I feel like it was a lot different because of Activision.
I think Activision probably brought in all of those, like, market-tested and... what do they call those? When they, like... put those people behind the glass and ask them questions and stuff like that. But I feel like they brought in a
focus group.
Focus group.
Yeah.
I feel like they brought in a bunch of people to a focus group and like people who are like not gamers, and they were like, play Destiny, and then they were like, what's going on here? And they're like, what would make it better? And they're like, if I didn't have to play. And they're like, okay, that's how we'll make the game. You know, that's how it feels like that went.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what they wanted to do, right? They wanted to get more people that were not Destiny players.
Would you buy this? I don't even know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Understood. We'll water it down more and get back to you.
Yeah.
Now would you buy it?
Right.
The thing about like not being able to do content right away, though, I definitely agree with. Like,
I understand.
Literally, Black Armory launched, and people just had to go.
Well, the first forge, it's like there's no reason why they couldn't make all the forges have a different light level cap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I think what we're struggling with here is not so much that, you know, whether this forge is like a higher light level or not, it's that there needs to be some sort of content to grind to level up, so you're not forced to only do old content to level up. That's something that frustrated a lot of people, having to just go back and like do public events and crap like that on planets.
No. Don't you get it? The only thing that's wrong with it is they set the power requirement too high for the first forge.
But yeah. But like the thing that worries me about this line is it just reminds me of Destiny 1. And you know, maybe like I'm the only person who was bothered by this, but I hated how each content release, you know, I'd go in max level, but the vendor gear, as soon as the content dropped, would be higher than the level I was, so that like players who were newer could just buy vendor gear and be ahead of me. I mean, that's just BS. You know, like
you think they're going to go back to a system like that?
It doesn't happen.
Because that didn't happen in Destiny 2.
Right. It doesn't happen anymore. But like this line about, you know, getting more players involved and having, you know, more catch-up mechanics and how the light level was too high just makes me worry about going back to that kind of a system. It feels like it invalidates your progress.
Well, I'm curious kind of what like Lucas Smith has really been like, what influences him these days, because I don't know that he plays the games that in such the way that he was such a very, very hardcore player.
Well, based on the last line that he talks about, I'm pretty certain that him and most of the studio are working on Destiny 3 now. Like, I'll just read this line. He says, long-term, Bungie is committed to Destiny. We created the universe we hold in its future entirely in our hands. The vast majority of the team is hard at work envisioning future experiences, enemies, and ways to play the Guardian you've been building since 2014. We're going to keep doing that. And then when we talk about these sandbox changes...
Wait till 2014, though.
No, since 2014.
Yeah, but we're not playing the same Guardian we were playing in 2014.
Well, because we're on PC, we're not. But technically, you did get to port the appearance of your characters.
That is such a cop-out.
Yeah.
Sad about it.
But so when I look at this, it tells me I think that they are working on this future project, whether they're going to call it Destiny 3 or not. And then also,
I think they drop 3 and then they just call it Destiny.
Typically, we get sandbox changes and stuff like that from Josh Hamrick or John Wisniewski. We're very familiar with the names. The person talking about the sandbox changes is somebody I've never heard of this week, which leads me to believe that all of those important people are working on this new project, and basically everything that happens now to the end of Destiny 2.
You have never heard of Victor Anderson?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a designer.
Literally.
Dude, I looked him up on Twitter because I wanted to ask him a question, and he's unfindable. So.
Unfindable. Dude.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe they just hired him.
Yeah. They're like, hey, this game's dead, so we're going to need you to just pump out some sandbox changes.
Do you really want Josh Hamrick designing PvP for Destiny 3?
I don't know. I don't know. I want it to be good.
Is that something that you don't want?
Look, I mean, if we can get...
Maybe we should hire this Mr. Anderson for Destiny 3 PvP.
I think what's going to happen is when Destiny 3 is ready to launch, Josh Hamrick, he's going to roll up his sleeves like this, you know, make a trailer and be like, yeah, we made people faster.
He'll just wear a super, super short shirt.
Yeah. We made people faster, except for hunters. Have fun, guys.
The hunters were in a good spot.
Yeah, so we left them the same as Destiny 2. Throwing knives are great, by the way.
They are great? Okay. Just don't know what you're talking. Well, I'm sad about that, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Well, we can get to the sandbox changes now. So the biggest and most important thing that I think we need to mention came in last week's TWAB, and they talked about matchmaking changes specifically. For the competitive playlist, because there's been a bunch of people whining on Reddit. Wow, I have to match people who are higher than me. Well, guess what? There's not a population to support. It's not like Halo 2 and 3 where it's like, oh, there's 1 million people playing ranked modes at any given time. This is not the same. So now they've caved into those people and said, we're going to force people into a situation where they have to match people closer to their rank, which is pushing us back to where we were before Forsaken launched. And now, basically, if you get like above 2100 or so, it really starts to take a long time. You get mongoosed a lot, and the queue times are just out of control. And there's a lot of people on Twitter who are still in favor of this for some reason. They're like, yeah, but people like casuals are going to have a better experience. Well, they're not going to climb all the way to the top. So I just don't understand like who is benefiting from this system. You know?
I mean, probably the people that just want to get to like 2100 or whatever for the gun, and then that's.
But they don't care about the The 5450 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not grinding for Unbroken anymore. I'm not going to put myself through that hell for a title of just sitting in queues for hours and hours. The thing is,
if you do it, listen, if you do it in the next season, if you do it like the first week, you won't have a problem at all.
I don't know about that, man.
Because
you'll have to wait even longer.
Yeah, because if I don't get it this season, there won't be other people there. And if I don't get it this season, XO, then that means I have to do that next season and the season after that. Because I need two more Legend seasons.
Oh, you need it this. You don't need it this season.
Yeah, I do. You need it 3 seasons.
Oh, because you didn't. Yeah. You should have went for the mountaintop.
I won't use grenade launchers, but I don't know. This is a really bad idea. I'm bummed that they did this. They should reverse this as quickly as possible. That's just my take.
I agree. Yeah, 100%.
And
just because it doesn't benefit anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a shame.
I just think the comp playlist is just weird in general. I don't know. I feel like they have not found what they want.
Well, how about instead of like forcing matchmaking, my idea and like what a lot of people have said is, just change the reward system so that if you do match somebody who's higher, you have a lot more points you can win for winning that game. And if you lose that game, you don't take that big of a penalty because you probably shouldn't have had to play that match in the first place. That would be the simplest solution, So,
yeah,
that's pretty much all I have to say about matchmaking. Now we have a bunch of sandbox changes to talk about. I guess we can go through the weapons first. They're only changing 3 weapon archetypes, so big changes coming, guys. Big changes. It's only been 6 months since our last patch. They're doing the patches more frequently now. How many times have we heard this? Every time a big patch comes out, they're like, don't worry, guys, we're going to have patches more frequently coming. Well, this is not more frequently, and this is not significant, but...
How is that? I saw it somewhere, I don't remember, but they feel like they're getting better at communicating. They tell us that they're going to get better at communicating.
Yeah. So, first one is auto rifles. Rapid fire, adaptive, and high impact are getting a damage increase. It doesn't say how much. So 0.04%.
0.65, yeah.
They said autos are a little unforgiving for the ranges they occupy.
So they're not telling us the percentage again.
Right, yeah. In these patch note previews, they've gotten in this habit of just saying, yeah, we're doing a thing. So,
yeah.
The departure from Activision will give us more freedom to push patches frequently. Yeah.
When is the patch going live?
Yes, January 29th.
Like, they're actually going to use Activision forever. But, like, guys, just so you know, Activision would have stopped this from happening.
Yeah.
But because Activision is no longer, just so you know.
Yeah. Now we can buff auto rifles.
They were stopping us from buffing scout rifles. Yeah. They really wanted them weak.
Yeah.
So the scout rifles, another damage increase for lightweight and rapid fire scout rifles, as well as an increase to all scout rifles in PvE. So that's an interesting one because
2% increase.
Yeah.
Kinrun did make a mention too about a game that he spent $5,000 on.
Whoa. What?
Yeah, like I forgot to mention that. He said one time I spent $5,000 on a mobile game to be relevant. He'll never do that again, is what he said.
I'm so sorry, Kinrun.
That whale.
Damn, dude.
Poor Kinrun.
That's the whale right there.
I think his wife must have beat the crap out of him when she found out about
the pricing structure on those games. Maybe he just had the money left over. He was just hanging around. He's like, whatever,
No. Yeah, I don't know. I think even if I was a millionaire, like, that would be a problem.
I don't know if it would be that big of a deal, though. You'd be like, oh, what's really 5K,
Oh, my God.
It's like months of work, maybe?
Yeah. But, like, you realize that's, like, what people live on, right? There's people who live on that a year.
So...
That was Oh, he said he did it over a 4-month period.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't all at once.
Still, that's $1,200 a month.
So the last weapon archetype is sniper rifles, and they only mention rapid fire archetype sniper rifles, and they're making them able to kill in 2 body shots. I just don't understand. These developers seem so disconnected from the reality of the game. It already is the case that most people are using the rapid fire archetype because of the high aim assist values on them and the low zoom factors on the scopes. So it seems a little weird to me that they buff those and then they nix the idea to buff the high impact snipers to be able to one-shot supers, or they just don't mention it here, or it's coming later or whatever. But it's like, why? Why just that? Why are we doing just that? That makes no sense at all.
It would make sense if they were also doing the other one. Like if high impacts also killed and supered, like then I'd be like, oh, okay, like this totally makes sense. Like you have a trade-off.
Right. Instead, they're like, hey, you know the sniper everyone's using? What if we only adjusted that one to make it better?
Yeah. And you already have to hit a super twice with that sniper anyway, so it literally does nothing. Like,
and I also have a problem with this terminology. They say, although snipers are still finding success, we believe that allowing you to clean up a kill easier with a sniper rifle will allow the sniper to have that success at more ranges and in more situations. Okay, hold up.
So they're talking about short range
Although
snipers.
snipers are still finding success, I've pulled the data on this multiple times. Snipers have like a 4% utilization in terms of the total kills in the Crucible, compared to shotguns at like 28%, more than most primaries. So what the hell are they talking about? They have this irrational fear. Did you find that data on
console though?
Yeah, no. It's both. It's actually PC too.
Yeah. Oh, so like a PC and console have the same?
Like it's slightly higher, like in the terms of like 1 to 2%, depending what month you look at. It's slightly higher on PC, but not by much. But I think they have this irrational fear that making snipers like too powerful is like something they really need to be worried about. They're so far away from that. I mean, even earlier when they mentioned the thing about high impact snipers, they're like, we're not looking into reducing the flinch though. We know people want that, but we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And it's like, what the hell are you so afraid of? You have shotguns just running around. You've got this stupid Jotun thing. You just put a freaking rocket launcher into a secondary and you're worried about like doing these things too quickly with the sniper rifles. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like it feels like they're very disconnected from what's actually happening, and it's very frustrating to me because, you know, like every time something like this happens, it's just like, hey, you should really make mobility affect sprint speed. Whatever happened to that? Never did it. And then it's like, oh, sniper rifles. How about a skill shot from a high impact sniper rifle should kill a super? They're like, we need to take our time, maybe in 6 months, you know, like that makes, these are small changes, you know, like it's not something revolutionary that's going to like really change the game that much.
Well, they should have reduced the flinch from the very beginning, like before, like they told us that it was 6 months out. That
or how about at least making unflinching work, right? At least make the perk work, for God's sake.
Yeah,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Although I don't want to go back to the like the D1 days where you literally could not peek like a lane because there'd be a sniper in it and you couldn't flinch them. That was like a really annoying time.
You could flinch them. The thing was that the aim assist values were so high that like the reticle would like bounce into the
Here's
head
a question,
and stuff like
right?
That.
Bungie developed Halo. I don't remember Halo ever having flinch on the sniper rifle.
No, Halo didn't have flinch on any weapons.
Right.
There was no flinch. It was just hip fire shots, and it was the more accurate.
Well, the battle rifle had a scope.
It had a scope. It didn't have flinch.
But nothing had a flinch. That's the point.
Nothing had flinch or recoil. there was nothing. It was just straight up.
Wait,
like,
there was no
aim
recoil.
And shoot.
Lol.
Right. So like,
and there was no like in-air accuracy problems, or it was just everything just like went where you shot it. What a weird concept.
Yeah.
Huh? D-scope, yeah. Shadow's right. There was D-scope.
Oh, yeah.
So if you were like zoomed in and you got shot, it unscoped you. But wherever you left your reticle, it would still go there. So if you were done aiming your sniper and it D-scoped you and you pulled the trigger, it would still go where you were pointed anyway. There was no damage fall off.
There was no damage. There was no fault. Like there was no sniper bullet that fell forward like it does in Fortnite.
And hipfire was accurate? Question mark?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
The BR in Halo's projectile weapon and not hit scan. I don't remember that clearly, but I'll take your word for it.
I'll take your word for it, yeah.
I know that there was projectile weapons like the needler and stuff like that. So
the whole thing about snipers, though, is that I feel like we need a little bit more data. And by that, I just mean like too many people are running around with shotguns that we don't know what it's like when people are running around with more snipers. It's like we don't know what it like.
I don't know that we need more data, dude. There's a rocket launcher in the special weapon that tracks people and can kill.
I legit died to that, and I was like, oh, I don't remember them grabbing heavy. And then I came later to like 2 days later, I was like, oh, it's actually special.
The days, if they're leaving that as it is, then I don't want to hear like we need more data because they're worried about a competitive balance. Like everything's
not a competitive balance, but like I want to see what the Crucible is like when more people are running sniper. Because right now it's like I run to a sniper, it's like, oh, that's like really rare. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
Like literally everyone is running with a shotgun. I think like, like 9 times out of 10. If not, it's Jotun or some shit.
Well, yeah. So they buffed all these like little things, right? And then the Legend of Acreus and these exotic weapons, like they just went to town on the Telesto.
Yep, because the Telesto is such a problem on console. But so starting with the Acreus, they're extending the range and increasing the damage. We don't know by how much. They 2%. Say increasing the damage. And then it says bump down the range slightly. The problem with Acreus, especially on PC, is that there's no reason to use it over the tractor cannon because the tractor cannon has almost the same range, is much snappier, and has more ammo, and is able to shut down supers.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Acreus can kill supers, but it doesn't shut them down immediately. Right. So yeah, I agree with those changes.
Yeah, I don't even know if it'll be enough to make it worth using.
Yeah, I agree.
No, it'll be like 50% damage increase. You can and the range is like max, so you can shoot from like halfway across the map.
Although I was toying with that stuff in PvE, it's actually still fun to get like multi kills with it.
Yeah, I remember when they first buffed the Acreus and everyone was like, it's the dog killer for the dog encounter.
This actually looks like they just don't care about the competitiveness at all about D2. Like they just like with Jotun.
Well, like I said, I don't even know who this guy is who's like running the sandbox changes. They're just like, you're in charge now, Mr. Anderson. You're you're the chosen one.
Anderson.
Yeah. Well, they even like put his name down as that. Like they introduce him as Victor Anderson, but then they say Mr. Anderson every time they quote him.
Dude, I bet he gets that all the time at work too.
I'm sure. He probably loves it.
Stop.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, he's like, dude, my favorite movie's The Matrix.
Yeah. So Telesto got hit. And I have watched people who play on console, and it does seem pretty obnoxious because of the aim assist values. Everyone runs around with Telesto, and just like it's the easy mode, pretty much. Like it's got no fall off because of the projectiles, and it's a problem. So what they did was bring down the damage to match a standard fusion rifle charge rate. Change the zoom. To increase it to match long-range scopes. So that's yikes. Telesto has become fairly notorious in the Crucible. Yeah, okay. And accidental multi-kills. They say, even in some cases, getting accidental multi-kills. Accidental? Yes. Like, how is that not a design intent of these projectiles? That makes no sense at all. Due to how damaging the explosions were. To combat these, we reduced PvP damage to match charge rate and brought up an issue where doing so was significantly hurting the usability of the weapons, so the optics were buffed in return. I don't know what that means. The optics were buffed.
So they're basically recapping the two changes that they had. They're changing the optics They're making it to match the long range.
Yeah,
because they said that they're saying it twice in there. I don't know why he's saying it twice. Maybe it's
I guess like the first part they're like, yeah, obviously this is a problem in PvE, you know, like so.
I'm glad that it's just affecting the PvP damage though. It's not affecting the PvE damage at all. But like, I don't know who's picking a Telesto over another exotic. It doesn't. I just don't know who's doing that.
Everyone on console in PvP.
I guess everyone on console is doing it.
Yeah.
The trace rifles, they're getting another ammo buff. It feels like they've slowly been like shadow buffing these trace rifles, and like still no one's using them. Like,
well, you get like 0 ammo. Yeah. Like you start with 50, which is enough for like maybe a kill or 2.
The wave splitter.
And then you get 5.
Yeah. Well, I have no experience with
I don't get the wave splitter, yeah.
But the wave splitter is only on PS4, as everyone knows.
Yeah.
Let's hope those exclusives go away forever,
No,
guys.
PC exclusives. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, we already have
Epic is paying for extra exclusives for the Epic launcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so they're nerfing the wave splitter in PvP, reduced the strength. What a weird terminology. All this time, in every other line, they say reduce damage. Now they say reduce the strength. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. Like, why are we changing the terminology all of a sudden?
So there's a couple of waves that the wave splitter does that. So they might be talking about this is a high-minded. It's probably not. They probably just meant damage. But like the way that the wave splitter works is you have to wait for the beams to correctly align for them to start doing the maximum damage. And what they're talking about is they might be talking about that they reduce the strength of the beam and because the beam was too strong and it would singularity too quickly. Because like this, the beam singularity is what kills them, I think.
And then it's probably good it's not on PC because the frame rate issues that they've had.
They're definitely going to have when Wave Splitter comes in year 3, Destiny 2. If Destiny 2 is still what we're playing, we might be playing Destiny 2.
Maybe.
Yeah.
God, I hope not.
Well, I mean, I think we'll still be playing it this fall. I don't know if they'll have a big release this fall, but I think we'll still be playing it till 2020.
I think they're just going to have another annual pass.
That's a yikes for me, dog.
Yeah. I don't like. I hope they can at least get something like Rise of Iron sized out to hold people over till Destiny 3 because an annual pass, I don't know if that's going to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It doesn't need to bring people back in, but it at least needs to like
Wasn't there one year where they didn't have, it was the second year, right? Where they didn't have an annual pass or a season pass with it?
Taken King, they didn't have anything for a whole year, basically, till Rise of Iron. They did an April update that was free, where they remastered Prison of Elders, but that was it.
Right. All right.
So then they say weapon tuning is an ongoing process. Be sure to talk to you again about it in the future and mention adjustments to trace rifle damage in PvE, submachine gun adjustments, shotgun adjustments, and taking a holistic look at the heavy slot options and how much impact the loadout choices for PvE content. Well, they didn't mention the sniper change that we talked about in there anywhere. That makes me worry that they've decided against doing that now.
They might have just missed it though.
They could have. So now we're like talking about like, oh yeah, they just forgot. They were just incompetent about writing this. That's no big deal. Don't worry about it.
Dude.
It's his first day on the job. You know, we should give him some
slack.
Did we want to talk about the super changes as well before moving on? Because those are kind of like
yes, changes. Yeah, we do. But I just wanted to mention that these changes are coming January 29th. The stuff in this last paragraph, I don't know when it's coming. I don't know if the sniper changes are still coming or not at all. And then when he says shotgun adjustments, I'm wondering what the heck that means too. Because honestly, I don't feel like shotguns are too strong right now.
Really?
No, I don't. I really just wish that snipers were better. Like,
Dude, I don't know, man. There's just like
what's too strong about them?
Well, it's just like compared to other specials that are not snipers. Like snipers have like this super long range and don't really compete real close to shotguns at all, are not supposed to. But you have fusion rifles, sidearms, and SMGs that all kind of operate in the same.
Well, sidearms and SMGs are not really special weapons, though.
Yeah, they're not special weapons, but they occupy that same kind of range, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't really see any reason to run an SMG or sidearm if you can have a shotgun. And I don't really see why you would have.
I don't know what they're going to do with those, though. It's been a problem since they brought special weapons back.
Yeah.
You know?
I think.
I honestly think
that the range for shotguns.
Going to do that.
I wish they would.
Well, they better take.
That's another discussion. Yeah. I think they definitely need to.
That is a big problem.
Yeah.
The Titan skating, the one-eyed mask. That's another thing. They mention these 3 exotic weapons. They don't mention the one-eyed mask.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No. Yeah. But what I'm saying is that I think that shotguns could come down in a little bit in range, like still do some damage, but do less damage.
I honestly think the majority of shotgun ranges are like fine. You know, the majority of them. Like you can have some outliers that have longer ranges, but most people don't like using those ones because they're highly inconsistent because of the pellet patterns. Like in Destiny 1, it was always like use the highest impact shotgun with the longest range because maximize one-hit kill range. Still the case in Destiny 2, but the problem is it's more inconsistent now, so people opt for full auto shotguns instead, and then they just spam the trigger or like hold the trigger down, you know, and use more ammo.
I just think like the speed at which people can move combined with the range of shotgun just makes for like...
Yeah, well that goes back to Titan skating.
Yeah, but I just think like the whole thing with shotgun is like you shouldn't... The ranges we're getting, I feel, should only be done with like the high impacts because you should be meleeing people. Like that is the combo. You shotgun melee, and right now you almost like don't ever.
Well,
see
that was what it was in D1, right?
Like I rarely see that. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like
no, dude, in D1 the range was longer. Actually, if you had like a Fellwinter's Lie, you didn't even have to get into the same room as somebody, and you could just shotgun them down.
Towards the end, dude, I don't know about that.
Well, towards the end, they had been nerfed like 600 times by towards the end.
Yeah.
But like for the majority of the game's lifespan. So let's talk about the super changes. This is where things really get off the rails.
So the supers that have changed was Golden Gun, both versions. And these are all getting damage increases. Mobius Quiver, Shadow Shot, Arc Staff, Burning Maul, Hammer of Soul, Code of the Siegebreaker, which is the... Which one is that? Is that the one where you smash?
Bottom?
No, I think that's the middle one.
Titan you're talking about? Or...
Yeah, that's probably the middle one then.
Fist of Havoc, Sentinel Shield, Nova Bomb, both versions of Nova Bomb, and then Daybreak.
Code of the Siegebreaker. I don't know. I guess that's the bottom one.
I think it's the bottom one? Is it the middle one or the bottom one? All right. Google, help me out here.
No, it can't be the middle one. That's Burning Maul.
Yeah, so it's the Sunbreaker with the sunspots.
Okay.
So it's the already overpowered. Like I don't know if you know this or not, but Lucky and Buttwipe did an actual damage comparison on the two different Titans, and even without the sunspot damage that you get because of the amount of hammers that you get to throw in that version, the exploding hammers don't actually do more damage.
It's not that they do more damage. People like them because you can get multi-kills with a single hammer, and it expands the range of it.
But also, like, it takes longer to throw those hammers, so your overall damage per second might be lower.
They're buffing it now, so who knows?
Yeah, so I also love that tree, so I'm happy that is a thing. I always love those.
I think it's more of a skill play. You know what I mean? Like you play the other way. You're like, hey, I'm just gonna throw a hammer and kill 4 people and be happy with that. And then this one is like, I have to throw these hammers specifically. It's more of a skilled tree.
All of the supers you just mentioned are getting damage buffs. We don't know by how much. We don't know if they're tuning them individually or if they're all getting a flat buff.
2%. 1.67.
Well, like talking about each of them individually, what I'd like to see from Golden Gun is for it to be able to one-shot supers. Otherwise, I don't even know what the point of a damage buff is. If they can't one-shot roaming supers, then it's a little weird. They don't need to be able to one-shot like someone casting a Nova Bomb necessarily.
Yeah.
But if it's a roaming super, I think it should be able to shut it down. Otherwise... Yeah, I don't know what a damage buff is going to
do. Small comment about Nova Bomb. I was running Scourge of the Past, and I used Bottom Tree Nova Bomb to hit one of the servitors in the first encounter. It doesn't even kill them, but I used the shoulder charge from the Hammer Titan, and that actually killed it in one shot. So, like, something needs to be done there.
Mobius Quiver.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Do you think Mobius Quiver is going to be able to one-shot people?
God, I hope so.
If it doesn't, then again,
okay,
I don't know what the point.
That actually, the first line of that actually makes me think yes.
Not supers,
it makes me think yes. Entire damage bonus is applied on the first hit instead of stacking and multiplying. That means that the way it is right now is it's stacked and multiplied with itself. So your first shot actually did less damage, and your second shot did more. And your third, but the way that it's going to work is that your first hit is going to hit the hardest, which is, pretty much guarantees that. I think the wording of that means,
that makes sense. Arc Staff better be able to one hit kill at least with the heavy attack, other roaming supers, because right now Arc Staff is in a place where. Super v super, it's just bad because you have to close the gap on them and you have like no extra movement abilities other than just spamming dodge over and over again and hoping they don't run away from you. And then if you do close the gap on them and they pop their super, you have to somehow hit them twice without getting hit once. It's a weird thing. A Hammer Titan throws a hammer at you and you're dead from a distance, or a Dawnblade.
Yeah.
But you have to hit them twice up close. It's like...
I don't think... What about blades, though? I think you still have to hit... Like, blades have to hit you twice.
Yeah, but blades are able to combo attack. Like, they're able to do the light, heavy.
It's very quick. It's very fast.
And they get the stealth, so I'm okay with blades taking 2 hits. But Arc Staff, specifically, is just like... You have to get really lucky or make somebody miss their shots at you to pull it off. It's really... Not great.
Except for the middle tree, like the
reflection,
like the blocking one.
Yeah,
like that shit is really good.
Yeah. So it can be. You have to slow down how fast you close the gap, though, by using that reflection, obviously, because you can only walk.
Yeah, that's true.
Burning Maul. So like the big hammer is getting a damage buff. I'm okay with that. I think that'll be more of a PvE thing than anything because it already kills anything. I think, right? It's just that no one uses it because
it's just bad.
We talked about the other hammer, Fist of Havoc, damage increase. Okay, that's fine. Sentinel Shield. Are they saying the throwing? Oh, they talk about that later, and they say it's the heavy attack on it. So you combo it. I think it's 1, 2, and then the shield bash, and they're saying the shield bash is gonna have a higher damage. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, just a curiosity. I know that you looked up Mr. Anderson, but did you look up designer Dan Nady?
No.
Because I'm willing to bet he doesn't exist either.
Yeah, probably not. Sentinel Shield, Nova Bomb, and then Daybreak. We get to Daybreak. I could see a damage buff for PvE. It's a little weird if it starts. So the damage buff coupled with the fact that they're extending the time for some reason. When you go down and scroll down to the Dawnblade changes, super duration increased. This was already one of the supers that last the longest. It has the most mobility. It has very high tracking on the swords, and the damage is getting increased.
So high.
It's arguably the most lethal super as it is, and they're buffing it. So, I mean, I don't know how it's going to flesh out with all these other changes, but at the same time, I just can't see it being not the best option.
I would say Spectral Blades is also way up there as well in terms of like how long it can last and
if you stay invisible. And if you use GuardianCast.
Even if you don't, you could use your left swing with no cost to get around the map like so quick. Like it literally costs you nothing in your super.
I think you're being a little bit deceived by GuardianCast. Like a lot of people run GuardianCast and they're able to extend it a lot.
Some people don't.
It's not that long.
Yeah,
that's true. But I don't run it. I don't run it, and I think it lasts like 14 seconds or something, Godin.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So,
but top tree really.
So what they're doing though is they're
like
making it so that the duration of super while invisible is going to be slightly decreased, and then obviously the damage is going to be decreased.
But hang on, going back to the Dawn Blade, like the top tree, that could definitely use a increase in duration because it's like really short with the top tree. Like you don't get extra time on a kill, and it's like I think you get like 5 swipes.
They're changing.
There's like 6. That's what I'm saying. So like if it was just for top tree, like that makes sense. But increasing the duration for the bottom one seems a little weird.
Well, you get on kills, you get like super energy back.
Only on the bottom tree, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like on the bottom tree, it kind of doesn't make sense. But on
the
top
tree has the Icarus dash.
The Twilight Garrison. Yeah. You can call it what it is.
I haven't seen somebody use that literally since the beta.
No, there was that one guy who did. Remember,
that one guy.
That one guy there, Jared. Yeah, everyone knows Jared.
Yeah.
14th
he was zooming around the map and killing like 15 people.
Oh, and we forgot to mention that Nova Warp is getting a damage reduction.
A slight damage reduction, but the reason why they said that they're doing it is because they wanted to make
and Blade Barrage.
Yeah, they want to make it so that you don't just use it just in one particular instance.
Do we want to talk about Nova Warp, or do we want to wait till?
No, I don't want to go through all these. It's going to take up too much time to go through all these. So
okay,
yeah. Go ahead and.
I have a comment about Nova Warp because I think they're like way over nerfing it.
Yeah,
so they're reducing the damage. Okay, you're slowed down when you're charging. And you drain your super while you're charging. The duration as a whole is getting reduced, and you can no longer one-hit supers. And I think it's kind of a mistake because now it's basically useless versus any super. I would have liked to see it have like a damage fall-off, whereas like if they were right beside you and you were charging it, then it should kill any super. But if they're like a little bit further away, then it doesn't. But now it's just
isn't the point? It's like you'll be slow charging to be a reaction. Like if you look at it like this, right? Like any other super, isn't the point of that super if you have another super coming at you to be a reactionary super that you can take the person out? Like that's the point of it.
No, that's Nova Bomb. No, so like Nova Warp is a roaming super though. So those are you're meant to like hunt people down. So yeah. So I don't think anyone's going to use Nova Warp outside of like a few people.
This is a weird thing. In Destiny, I feel like they can't seem to get this concept. I feel like the design of supers should be one of two options. Either it's a glass cannon that is high lethality, but the risk reward is there because you take your chance of dying. They had that right in Destiny 1. Golden Gun was the strongest, most lethal super, but it had no damage resistance. You could take them out pretty easily.
It still doesn't, but it's now also weak on top of it. It's going to change because of these changes that they're doing, and it might even be overpowered. We'll see. But so like with this Nova Warp thing, they made them impossible to kill. And they have this incredible explosion range, and they're just able to roam around the map forever killing people. Like it's just too much. But then they go and nerf it, and they like take away everything. So
yeah, it doesn't have the lethality, and you're slower, and you're weaker.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know. I would have liked it just have been the slowdown.
Well, doesn't it take super energy like super draining super energy faster when you're charging, right?
No, when you teleport,
it does not.
It drains.
Currently, no. When you teleport, or when you activate the charge. So when you first start it, but not while you're charging.
Okay, so this basically affects the people who are just like sitting charging the entire time, just running through, and
Well,
it's going to affect anyone using Nova Warp.
it's gonna affect anyone using it because the fact that it doesn't hit supers, like one hit supers, means that if you don't hit them at like the very end of the range, you're just dead. Because like I'm not gonna get a second Nova Warp off.
Well,
so
Witz asked a good question if they were nerfing the handheld Supernova, and the thing is, they're actually not adjusting any neutral game abilities at all. It's only supers. It's like they think we're playing in a vacuum of mayhem where all we do is use supers? Like why? This is the second time they've adjusted supers, but nothing on the neutral game scale. That's why freaking throwing knives still do less damage than a regular melee. You know, like what is happening in this game? You know.
Yeah. Also, the fact that throwing knife is not getting buffed, I'm pretty peeved about. Like, it's so bad on mouse, and it's just it literally does like no damage. It's
like I almost just want to throw it to get it out of my inventory, so I don't accidentally throw it.
Yeah, so you don't accidentally throw it. Yeah.
But yeah, so speaking of Golden Gun, that's the only other thing I want to mention because I'm not going line by line through all these. You guys can check out the patch notes from last week if you want to know everything. But those
are just the stuff that made us mad.
Well, no, the Golden Gun changes don't make me mad, but I am worried that it might be a little bit too much. So the new 6-shooter is going to refund any bullet that gets a kill, basically.
And the damage is increased as well.
And the damage is increased, but we don't know by how much.
It doesn't matter. It was a one-hit kill.
No, because it was a one-hit kill supers, so you had to double tap them before. So I don't know if that's still the case with 6-shooter. We're going to have to find out.
But it's increased damage, so probably.
Right. So we'll see. But in any case, imagine having 6 shots and then like getting another 6 shots. Like basically, you could just keep getting more shots. I don't know.
Isn't that happening right now?
I don't know if the time is going to get extended though.
No, it's happening right now.
I hope not.
I hope not, because that would be way too strong, I think. I'm also surprised that like Bottom Tree did not see some kind of love. Like I would love to see Bottom Tree get combustion.
Well, they got
like, how cool
they got the damage buff, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you only get 3 shots, and presumably it'll kill supers, even if it's a body shot. But I would love to have seen Bottom Tree get combustion.
Well, that's reassuring.
I mean, that makes sense. Yeah.
They actually said that
now the best
it would be
clear
fixed.
super
They
never
actually said that you wouldn't. They were like, breathe easy. It'll be fixed alongside the Golden Gun change.
Yeah. Does the Bottom Tree
Only
have
the
Deadeye?
top tree.
Like, does it overpenetrate? No, okay. See that? Oh my god! Just give it Deadeye. Give it combustion. Like I don't see much reason to use the Bottom Tree at all.
Yeah, but you're using Celestial Nighthawk anyway.
Yeah, but you still need Bottom Tree for the
for the
precision
the crits
multiplier. Yeah. So
the crit. Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say about these super changes specifically?
No.
I would like to see. I'm surprised that Stormcaller Super is not getting a buff for damage. It feels pretty weak.
Stormcaller?
Stormcaller, yeah. Like I don't see people running that. Like it seems.
Yeah, but they're increasing like the number of targets.
Yeah, so for PvE that's cool, but
no, for PvP as well. Like when
no. I mean, like you're not going to see that a lot in PvP. Like you already don't chain to like 3 people very often.
Yeah, because it can't.
I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, like that changes to like 3 people. Is that not what it does?
Well, now it's going to, but it can't right now. That's why you don't see it happen. Because it can only go through 2 people.
Really? I was almost positive it went through 3. But anyway, like that doesn't seem like that big a deal. My thing is just like when I try Stormcaller versus other supers, like I pretty much usually die. Like it's not the best. So I would like to see a little bit.
Ironically, that Ionic Blink costs more than Nova Warp Blink. So.
Yeah, I think that is also weird. I don't know. I would just wanted to see that a little bit buff. But on that, yeah,
that'd be nice. So to be honest, like all in all, this patch does not look great to me. it's very underwhelming, and I don't think it addresses like almost any of the things I've been complaining about for.
Well, it's not just you. I think there's a lot of people who share similar feelings, like why people don't like people aren't playing the PvP again for very specific reasons, and this is Bungie not addressing it, but
and so that like brings me to my next point, which is that like I'm not saying I won't play it at all, but I think I'm going to be taking it easy on the PvP.
Yeah.
Like all of these with the matchmaking changes, especially, it just makes me feel like, I think I'm just going to play some other games and relax and hopefully come back to this when they get things straightened out a little bit. Cause this is not doing it for me. I mean, maybe the last word will be great, but it doesn't look like it's going to be great based on the stats we've seen. So, we'll have to see. Hopefully it's something shakes up the Crucible soon. Before we talk about other games, I just put this in here in case you wanted to talk about it, EXO. They're changing a bunch of stuff about the Forge,
I mean,
which I don't care about. But,
there's just a little bit of cool stuff in there. So like the coolness, the fact that so the 2 frames per week is, I don't know if that was the way that it was before. I'm pretty sure it was. But, I mean, if you had a ballistic logs, because you could only hold two ballistic logs total. Now you can hold more. But you can only buy 2 gold frames per week. It's a good move because what happens is you can get 3 or 4. And then I'm pretty sure that's the case. I haven't got more than 2. So I don't know if it maxes out at 2 or what. But they said that 2 gold frames per week. The gold frames refund into a ballistic log now, which I think is why they made sure to let us know that you could only purchase 2 of them per week. They increased the drop chance of Black Armory lore. The ballistic logs and the modulus reports go to the postmaster. That's huge. But it still caps at 15.
Huge, he says.
It is, because if you don't walk over and get them, guess they're gone forever.
I didn't even know that, dude. Oh my God.
That's what's happening right now.
Great. I had no idea that was the case.
Forge emblems.
Yeah. I just haven't done enough forges to know that, to be honest.
Like the one that we ask for, the one that everyone's asking for, is not in there. Which is, let us not talk to Ada to have to go reforge a thing. Because like the whole problem is you get this forge done and you can do it in 2 forges. You can just do it in 1 and then 2. But like, so like you have the objectives to complete the forge, and then you have to go ignite the forge. But once you complete the objectives for the forge, you don't just get to go to that forge. You have to go talk to Ada, and she will then hand you the thing to go do that. So it's like an added step to the, that people have said, why do we need to talk to Ada? We still have to, apparently. Forge emblems will be awarded when completing a forge. You don't have to have a specific bounty to be completed. So yeah, that I guess was a bug, where it wasn't awarding forge emblems that had a specific bounty to be completed, but it wasn't a specific. The
Thank
forge
God
emblems would only drop
fix out for that, because
the forge emblem would only drop if you completed a specific bounty, which was a thing. And it's like if you go into your collections, right, and you go say there's an Izanami forge, and there's an emblem for each one, and it'll say just complete the forge. So you're like, okay, well I just completed the forge, but no, you have to complete the forge and a specific bounty while doing it is what gives you the thing. Now they're gonna do it. They're actually gonna do what the tooltip says, which is insane.
Wow. Instead of just changing the tooltip and saying, we're taking that out of the tooltip.
Yeah.
Like Oath
so
Keepers.
Like instead of tying it to a bounty, which is, I mean, the language said complete the forge to get the emblem, And while it said that, it required a specific bounty to get it, and now it doesn't require a specific bounty, and the tooltip actually says it correctly. Well, that's it. I mean,
so I'm gonna mention like a couple other games that I'm planning on playing. You guys can feel free to bring up any games you're planning on playing soon. What I wanted to do was put a question out there to the audience and just ask you if you want us to have sort of mini discussions about what we're playing on any given week, because I have a feeling the content until at least Season of the Drifter is going to be pretty light on Destiny news. We'll still cover anything, but it's going to leave us really stretching to figure out what to talk about. So if you guys are all right with it, I think that probably whatever we're playing on any given week is what we should talk about, at least in mini discussions, if not necessarily the whole podcast.
Anthem is going to be a big game, and
yeah,
I mean, I don't know how much that's going to take. I mean, we haven't called ourselves GuardianCast for a couple of weeks, I think, for pretty specific reasons regarding that. Division 2 is coming out like a month after that, so there's going to be a lot of stuff to do in both those games.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, honestly, the name thing is not that big a deal. Yeah. Like, even if we end up talking about other games, like, we're still Guardians at heart. So, you know, I don't think...
I'm a Guardian in Anthem.
Yeah, know? Exactly. The Granthemers.
The Granthem's Division 2.
So I mean, I'll be playing the beta of Anthem. I'll be playing the early access of it, and I'm excited to jump into it. I'm worried about the mouse and keyboard support because that's one of the biggest criticisms I've heard. And if I have to play on a controller for a shooter, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stick it out, but we'll see. I'm definitely going to give it a fair shot.
Wait, what?
People who played the alpha complained that the mouse and keyboard support and implementation is not great. They've
said that it's still not better, but it's better, but it's still not.
Yeah,
not
like
great.
The UI is set up for a controller, and I think that there's a couple things where people have to like press like multiple button combinations, like because like on the controller you have to access like a scroll wheel or something because they don't have enough buttons, but on a keyboard it's like I should just be able to press one button. I shouldn't have to like hold a button and then press another button. That's stupid.
Yeah, maybe you can just change the keybinds.
We'll see. I hope that
and like the default control scheme is just bad, and hopefully. Then we can
maybe. I hope we can get something intuitive that feels
why would you want that?
I don't want to use a controller for a third-person shooter. I don't
mind it for a third-person shooter.
I actually don't mind it. Like, I don't know.
I don't like third-person
I grew up on
shooters
that, though,
to begin with, so
that's me.
I don't know. I mean, Warframe feels good on mouse and keyboard.
I'm also not gonna play the beta or alpha.
It might just feel really natural though. You don't want a controller.
So
you didn't play the alpha, you said, Godin?
No, I don't want to play the alpha or beta. I kind of just want to start it fresh when it releases.
Well, the alpha's already over.
The beta is going to come out pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
I'm gonna play the beta.
I did it with like Destiny 2, and I kind of just wished I just went in kind of blind.
I mean, Destiny 2's beta was just a PvP map.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
What did that spoil for you?
I don't know. I'd rather not have any of it spoiled. Just be like totally fresh. I'm not watching any trailers.
I haven't really
like
watched a lot of gameplay, but I'm gonna do the beta probably because I've got nothing else to do. The other thing is single player games. Like I have a lot of single player games I want to play. Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out on the 29th, and I am gonna spend a lot of time on that.
But the last Word Quest comes out on the 29th.
That's a good point.
Yeah, dude.
Godin has never played a Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah.
And listen to this, XO. So he thinks he's going to jump right in on Critical. And
he'll be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only
Critical.
played a little bit of the Kingdom Hearts games, but if I wanted to play a Kingdom Hearts game to its fullest, I usually play on the hardest difficulty. It doesn't matter what game it is. Like I'll try to play on the hardest difficulty setting.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Kingdom Hearts games, and I don't know what the case is going to be on 3, but Yeah, Tyler says you're gonna get stomped, Godin. But I don't know what the case in Kingdom Hearts 3 will be, but in some of the Kingdom Hearts titles, they made it where critical wasn't even available until you actually beat the game already.
There's other like Uncharted series does that, where the crushing difficulty isn't available till you defeat the hard difficulty.
So we'll see if that's the case, but it is.
Yeah, we'll see.
It is punishingly hard. Like. The boss mechanics in Kingdom Hearts are incredible. Like, they all have unique moves and abilities, and I just remember having to be like, during certain fights, it's like, all right, and this is the phase where I have to dodge 3 times in this timing, and then as soon as I get done dodging, I have to jump because he's going to do this next ability. And like, it's not exactly like his movements aren't choreographed where he goes to the same place. Like, there is AI, but you do have to like learn the timing and learn the number of times that he does each attack and like how long it persists and stuff like that. And if you screw it up on critical,
that's
a lot of times it's like you're going to get one hit killed, you know, and that's.
Yeah. That seems like, I don't know, very Dark Souls, like Bloodborne-esque. Like, you just have to learn the boss moves, and you'll just die a bunch learning the moves and the timing. So I'm excited for that, dude. Sounds great. And I also think you should play God of War.
I have to get back to Dark Souls 3, but I was playing Dark Souls 3.
It's brutal.
I haven't even made it to the
give it a shot.
I haven't made it to the first boss yet.
Dude,
how long is God of War, Godin?
Oh, dude. I mean, it depends if you do everything or if you just like stick to the main story.
I'm not going to do everything.
I mean, you might like it and you might do everything, but I want to say...
I'm sure I'll like it, but...
I want to say like around 14-ish, 15 for the...
14 hours?
I think so. I want to say that's how long it took me, but I did some side stuff, not all of it, so I think.
Oh, well, dude, I've been like putting it off because... I didn't want to start something really before Kingdom Hearts and then be like, oh, well, now I have to put this on hold and get back to it. But if I could finish it in like a week, then maybe I will play it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like pretty sure.
Not Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, so they're saying it's actually like
Red Dead Redemption 2. Hours. Red Dead Redemption 2 is 19. Like 200 hours.
Not Red Dead Redemption.
No.
Long.
Dude, I actually couldn't get into that game. Like, I tried, but... I don't know. For whatever reason, it just wasn't hitting the mark.
Some of those games you have to like really get immersed to get into it. You know,
and I don't know. I know that it's a great game, and I can appreciate it for like the extreme value it brings to people. But it's just like I'm not really.
I still have it in the packaging. So. I haven't opened it yet.
I don't know, man.
But I have it, so I almost feel bad not playing it. You know. We'll see. So those are the games that I'm looking forward to. You guys have any other games that you're looking forward to that you're going to play soon? Or
I mean, other than like I'd say like Division 2 when that comes out.
You're going to play Division 2?
Yeah, I'm going to play Division 2 for sure, yeah.
I'm actually going to pass on that one.
Really?
No, I am for sure. And the reason why was because I got into Division 1, but there was problems I had with Division 1, but they seem to... They addressed them later in the life, but I didn't have the patience to go back and play it. It was the developers' very, very first game, and they didn't learn. They learned a lot on how to actually make the game that they wanted to make. And with Division 2, it might be like a good time to jump in from.
I agree.
The problem for me is, I have literally, I don't know if there is any footage out or gameplay of Division 2.
Yeah, there is.
But Division 1's gameplay looked so boring to me. Like, I don't understand. The shooting doesn't look interesting. It's like hiding behind cover and like shooting at people for a long time.
Yeah, it's if you ever play Ghost Recon, it's a little similar to that, but it's like a multiplayer.
I've actually only ever once liked a Tom Clancy game. Only one Tom Clancy series, which was Splinter Cell. Which was like a stealth game.
You'd really like.
I like how he's like trying to explain.
The Dark Zone was.
There was this game back in the day.
With all the glitches that was still going on with the Dark Zone, there's still. Like,
I never liked any Rainbow Sixes or anything like that.
But it still was a blast. The Dark Zone was incredible.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's a blast. The end of Division 1, you're absolutely right. Like it was way better. So if you would have just like I don't know waited a few months, you probably would have like. absolutely loved it. But
I literally played on a friend's account for like 2 hours, and I was just like, dude, why am I shooting at these humans? Like, it's like such a weird thing to shoot at humans for so long. Like,
I think the Tom Clancy name actually kind of ruins it. I think Division would have been like the perfect like zombie game. Like,
Division is a rundown. The Division is a novel that he wrote, but I believe it is.
I still think it would have been the best zombie game ever.
Before he passed away, right?
Way more sense.
Because there's something really just like a cognitive dissonance where you're like, that's a person and they're not dying. I don't like, like they've absorbed like a whole clip of 50 caliber bullets.
So I guess
should be Swiss cheese by now.
It wasn't. It was written by Ubisoft.
There you go.
And Melanie
confirmed. Ubisoft is Tom Clancy.
Melcher Media and Alex Irvine.
Okay.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, it wasn't even written by Tom Clancy.
Oh well, there you go.
Nice.
There's a few other games I'm looking forward to. Metro Exodus. That game looks.
Yes, really you're right. I saw some game that looks beautiful. Dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that. And then the new the Resident Evil remake, Resident Evil 2. I played like the demo. Oof, I love that. I love that shit.
I know you love horror games. It's not really my thing.
Yeah.
But the Metro Exodus thing is interesting. I never played any of the other Metros. Have you? Yeah.
Same. I've not played any of them.
It just looks cool though.
Yeah, it looks. It kind of reminds me of what like I want. Like Fallout seems like. I don't know. Like it might fill that gap for some people, but I don't know.
Is that the kind of gameplay it is?
No, not in terms of gameplay, but just setting. Like
well, Fallout looks like shit.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like just like it looks like a better version of Fallout. But I don't know.
Okay, that's interesting.
But I'm excited for it. It looks beautiful. Gameplay looks, pretty decent. But
it's a first-person shooter. I like that.
It's a first-person shooter. Yeah.
First-person shooter story game, which I never played. What was that other one? Far Cry. So
yeah, I haven't played that either. Although I kind of should. I'm also looking forward to Last Night, which is like that pixelated 3D neon kind of game. It was set in the future. I don't know, but it just looks really cool. It looks like some kind of detective game.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, playing some Diablo.
Well, another thing I'll mention is I've brought this up a couple times, but to try out Anthem, I bought Origin Access Premier, and so if I don't end up liking Anthem, I'll probably try a couple of the other games on there. You can play like A Way Out or Mass Effect or any of that stuff if you want to.
Nice.
So it's a pretty good deal, honestly, for EA. It's like actually pretty decent. I can't complain. That's all I really have for this week, though, guys. I think this has been a pretty good discussion.
Yeah.
Godin, thanks for coming on, man.
It was great filling in that Huffy spot. I know I'm just so
yeah.
I'm not as handsome.
We wish Huffy a swift recovery.
Yes. The poor guy, dude. Also, like, I'm sad I don't get to play with him as much because of his stupid injury.
Same,
what a fool, dude.
But now there's no reason to play comp.
So hey, there's no reason to really play Destiny, am I right?
We're ending on a good note there.
Oh yeah, dude.
Hashtag sponsored by
I was talking about
Activision.
it earlier. I was talking about it earlier, saying how Destiny has like the content that's in Destiny. Like a lot of it isn't like fun to watch. Does that make sense?
Oh, I wanted to mention,
so like from an entertainment perspective, like it's not entertaining.
I wanted to mention, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, sponsorships and stuff, and the effect on YouTube videos.
So we're sponsored.
And
by
there was something.
Now? Is that what you're?
No. There was something that happened this week though that I wanted to bring up. There's a big controversy with Logan Paul. Apparently, he's been advertising for this website. I think it's called like Mystery Box or something like that.
Yep. Well, I don't know if it's Mystery Box, but yeah, it's an online gambling site.
It's an online gambling site that is literally just like loot boxes.
Most of his people are like,
and most of his audience is kids, and he's perfectly he's said that before. So he's basically advertising gambling to kids.
Like his big audience is between 9 and 13, I think he said.
Yikes, bro.
So like 9 and 13, and he's like, yeah, please, like, check it out. Yeah, cause and then like the odds, like PewDiePie did a video on the odds of like actually winning the Lamborghini, which is like it says it's a 0.038, but then somebody did the math on Reddit and they said that you would have to spend like $350,000 or something like that.
Oh my god!
Like the odds aren't even real. The listed odds aren't real. And the people who got better items, the company set up an account for them to give them like better luck, to make people think that you had good luck to play. So,
Kenrin, this is a public service announcement. Don't use that website.
No. You're not going to win anything.
Yeah, seriously, bro. I mean, JP brings up a good point. Like, gambling has always been there for kids in terms of like booster packs with Pokemon cards. Like those are kind of like a gambling.
Yeah, but this is like offering real money. You know, it's legitimate gambling.
For me, it was like the Marvel Classics and the Marvel Masterpieces, like getting the card packs and stuff. And like you would like, oh, is this like one that I haven't gotten yet? And maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But I didn't feel cheated because I spent $5.99 on a pack that I had every single one. You know, just needed that one card.
Well, I don't know if this website is not an American company, because they don't seem to be like regulated by American laws, because from what I understand, they say on their website, they're like, make sure if you want to gamble on this website that you're at least 13. I'm like, 13?
13? What? In China or something? Like what?
I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with it, but I'm sure they're making money hand over fist, and there's like, Logan Paul.
Well, thankfully, in America, you have to be 18 to gamble.
Yeah.
So,
but... All right, guys. Thanks for coming for episode 46. This has been awesome. Godin, thanks for being on this week. We'll have you back again, hopefully before.
And you can find him at twitch.tv. Now, we're just going to do the shout out for him. You're going to do the Twitch TV / GodinGaming /
GodinGaming.
GodinGaming.
Yeah.
And then Twitter at twitter.com / GodinGaming.
He is
it's the same thing, yeah.
He's a full-time Getting Over It streamer. He's a speed runner.
Oh god, no.
Of Getting Over It.
It actually like brings back pain. I don't know if he's Exo, have you seen that game?
Yeah. I have.
It hurts.
Yeah,
so much. Dude, it's been a pleasure.
Twitch partner, Getting Over It partner.
Oh god, dude. No. Marble's full-time, dude, is what I'm gonna do.
There's a Mizkif did a he's like on a big sub train, so he's like close to 3,000 subs.
And, oh my god!
And he kind of looks like Tyler, right? Kind of looks like Tyler 1, but he for his 2,500 gold, he shaved off his eyebrows and his hair, like he's completely bald and has no eyebrows. And he said, "Guys, if we get 3,000," he was at 29.85 when he saw the clip of him doing this, because somebody clipped him saying, he said, "Guys, if we get 3,000 subs, I will do a 24-hour marble stream." And like he saw him say, because he was at 29.85, he saw the clip. He deletes the clip and he's like, "All right, guys, like, so what?"
Nice.
It was funny.
Oh my god.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.
Ciao.